Hello, Holistic Chamber of Commerce family. Welcome to today's Member Spotlight. I have with us, and we just went over the whole pronunciation of the name, Jeanne Ruczhak-Eckman. And and I'm sure she'll correct me with all the different versions. You know, that's what happens when you have like a European name that is like spelled differently. When your grandparents or parents come through Ellis Island, it's such an ordeal. But anyway, she's going to be talking to us about holiday publicity, getting your name out there. Really quickly, a little about Jeanne. She's the editor, publisher, founder of Therapeutic Times. It's a quarterly magazine in both print and digital, and it's dedicated to promoting a more natural, therapeutic, and sustainable way of life. And it is time to start thinking about holiday promotions. I know it's only August, but still it's going to be here sooner than we know it. So her holiday gift guide is designed to promote the business, to promote your business with the reader, healer, or intuitive that can offer services virtually. So she's going to talk more about this with us today. So Jeanne, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, thank you. So as she said, we publish Therapeutic Times. It's a quarterly holistic magazine. I'm not sure where my camera is there.
There it is.
That's our current issue. That's the fall, just came out. And this is the summer one before that. So you'll notice each one has a little different theme. So summer was a focus on the masculine, and fall is a focus on fall wellness. So with winter, one thing we decided to do, we went digital about a year ago, in addition to the print. And on digital, we're at issuu.com. So it's issuu.com/therapeutic times, and we're spelled like the herb. So if you go on there, you'll see our digital issues. The holiday gift guide, we're going to put both on the digital as well as within the winter issue. So it'll be an extra online on the issuu.com. We're going to make the holiday gift guide free to anyone. So obviously our advertisers are going to be paying to be in there, but it's going to be free no matter, whoever looks at it. Whereas obviously the issues are on there for a small charge. The holiday gift guide, we decided that we want to help everybody promote their business, whether it be products like crystals, jewelry, crystal grids, tarot decks, whatever your product is. But we also wanted to help promote people that are readers, psychics, mediums, any service sort, who can, the ones we're looking for specifically are those that they can process through Zoom, they can work on the phone. I've had one psychic work out to me with email. So if you can do it virtually, our holiday gift guide is for you. If you're, for example, a chiropractor is not somebody we're seeking, your better bet would be your local weekly newspaper. And they're coming out now too. So that's another option. Holiday gift guides are going to be in your newspapers. They're going to be in magazines like ours. They're going to be online things. They're going to be Facebook specials. They're going to be all over. So you really have to decide which one's going to get you where you want to be, where your focus is. And the fact that we're going to do it digitally means we have an international audience potentially. Now, when I looked at my stats the other day, I have one person from Australia who checked us out. We had a couple Indian hits. That is from India. We had a couple European ones, Ukraine, Poland, and I'm sure they've probably popped on there because they were looking for me as a genealogist, not necessarily the magazine. But and we had some England hits. So as well as obviously the United States. But we are throughout the United States. We're sold at independent stores. We're also sold subscriptions. We sell at shows that we're at. So we get around. And like I said, the holiday gift guide obviously will be in the winter issue as well. So winter for us is December, January, February. And that's one other reason why we want to do it both ways, so that you get, again, the biggest bang for your buck.
Can you talk a little bit about why it's important to plan for the holidays and start planning now, because I think people don't understand that, their brain isn't on holiday mode. And then pretty soon it's like the end of October and they're like, oh my gosh. So talk a little bit about that.
So from an editorial point of view, part of it is because our winter deadline is October 1st across the board. The magazine, the holiday gift guide, we need time to get it all proofread, all the images so that they're high res, everything looking pretty. Then I send it off to my graphic designer, my creative director, and Alex she's been a godsend. She really has. And she can design your ad for you if you need so. There's an extra charge for that, and I let her handle that between you and her, so to speak. But in any case, so then we send it off to her, and then she sends it back. I do a final proof if there's any changes that need done or whatever, and then we can finally go to print. Then the printer has to put us in their queue. And then it goes, so it kind of like everybody has to wait for the next step. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing it with us or whether it's your local newspaper. So a lot of local newspapers, including those little circulars that come around once a week in your mailbox, still the same process. They might have everything under house, but they still have to go from the editorial point of view from the writing point of view to the editorial point of view to the layout point of view to the whoever is doing the whole mock-up, and then the layout of that, and then the final prep, and then the editing to make sure that's right. So there's a lot of little pieces that happen behind the scenes. And we need time for all that. That to the point, it's also a great time now to think about your own emails. If you have an email list, you want to start your marketing plan. I'm not saying send out a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you call it. I'm not saying send that to me this week. I'm saying that you want to think about, are you going to offer products at a discount? Are you just going to say, we're having a holiday sale? Are you going to offer gift certificates? These are things that you need to account for, and then decide, especially a gift certificate, when's the expiration date, or is it just whenever somebody hands it to you? So you have to do some thinking as well.
One of our listeners, Jamila, wants that website URL. I was going to post it at the end, but I'll post it now because, so can you tell me what that is again?
Sure. So our website for the magazine is www.therapeutictimes, again, that's like the herb.com. The digital copies, sorry, I'll give you a second to type.
Yeah, therapeutictimes.com. Okay. And the other one?
The other one, I'm sorry, I probably could have typed that now that I went on to the right section there. The other one is issuu.com. So it's issuu.com/therapeutic-times.
issuu.com. Okay.
/ISSUU.
Got it.
.com. /therapeutic-times.
Therapeutic THYME. It's like tricky on the words there. I'm trying to.
It sounded so cool when I came up with the title. Well, actually, one of my kids helped me with it. I'm a journalist by trade. So think New York Times, Therapeutic Times, right? And but when I wrote it down, she goes, "No, Ma." She says, like the herb, because we started out very herby based, very gardening based. And I was like, all right, that makes sense.
And then you spend your
whole
I had to
spell
career
about 10 times. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what was I thinking?
And then you spend your whole, career like times, like the herb. Why? So the holiday season is typically very busy and there's a lot of noise out there. What is your best advice? Like if someone does want to advertise and promote, what is your advice to really get seen versus kind of drown out in every other single ad of, oh, this is discounted 30% off? Do you have any like hints or tips for that?
Okay. So I think I got most of that. You kind of drowned out, and I'm sure it's my fault because we're going through, we just got a big new AC today, and that means that I'm hot spotting this because my electric's still off. So I think I got most of that. Headlines. Think about your the New York Times, CNN, Fox News, whatever you listen to, Al Jazeera, whatever. It's the headlines that make you buy that paper, or the headlines that make you click off to read it. So, and I didn't even read the news this morning, so I can't imagine what the headlines are. But I saw one, it was something about, well, here nor there, but your headline is what's going to draw people in. So, for example, I'm going to advertise my ancestral business in there. I have ancestral passages. I do genealogy for people, meaning I will trace your family history, and get in touch with your ancestors kind of through that mode. Not like a psychic. I don't talk to your ancestors in that way, but I find their background, their history, how they got to where they are, and their little story. And I document everything along the way. In any case, my headline might be something, instead of just, I do genealogy, it might be something for, let me find your ancestors, or something even more, your ancestors are talking. Are you listening? I should write that down. That was good.
That was good. It's like pique curiosity. I don't know. Am I listening? Are they talking?
Exactly.
How will I know?
So something to kind of catch your attention and grab your attention and bring it in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just feel like, even in general, the internet is so noisy and overwhelming that it gets harder and harder to stand out amongst the sea of information. And I think, people are trying different things, but it can be challenging. So,
and photos, your images are very important too. Mm-hmm. So, for example, even on social media, whether you do Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever you do, I'm going to notice your photo first. Now, I generally read everything anyway, but that's just me. Most people are going to look at your photo, and that's going to make them decide whether they're staying or going. Mm-hmm. So if you have a photo of a necklace, for example, that's great. But maybe a necklace with some crystals or some, it depends on what you sell. If you're a psychic, don't put a crystal ball up there. That's so overdone. It's so stereotyped. I have yet to see a psychic at a show actually use a crystal ball. And if she did, I'd probably walk away. But tarot cards, I've seen them use. But, so and each one has their own thing. They might have it as a decoration on the side, but it's an overdone, stereotyped kind of thing. So be creative, be unique, find something that's you, and let it stand out there, because we're all selling ourselves after all.
Yes, we are. Now you have both online and print. So online, is it just kind of like a directory that people are listed in, or it's the actual print magazine, but just transition to an online format so people are looking at the same thing?
So you're literally flipping through the book. If you go to issue.com, you're literally flipping through the magazine.
And do people have options for advertising for different sizes? I see that sometimes, like some get half a page, sometimes it's just like a little square.
So in the holiday gift guide, we have two different types. We have a product listing and we have a product showcase. The showcase will be across the top of the page or the bottom, but I think it's the top. And it'll have a photo, it'll have your title. It's a longer description, basically. And all the links, because we're doing this digitally as well, all your links are going to be hyperlinked. So if you have Goldstein's Crystal Shop, and it'll go off to, and somebody clicks on it, it'll go to www.goldsteinscrystalshop.com, and it'll link off automatically to it. If you have, if you're in the magazine, then obviously we're just going to state what the website is. So you get that seen both ways. As far as the magazine itself, we have full page ads, we have half page ads, and we have quarter page ads. We did a long time ago start out offering eighth page ads, which are kind of like about the size of a business card, but they got lost. I didn't, so it's still on our media kit only because I didn't take it off, and but we don't generally use that one.
Mhm. Out of curiosity, how did you get into the publishing business? Like, what made you decide to want to start Therapeutic Times?
Oh, so I'm a journalist by trade. So I have written since I was in high school when I started writing for the local newspaper. And then I went to college for something completely different. I went in to be a teacher. Quickly learned I did not have the patience for that. So I kind of bummed around a semester trying to figure out what I was doing. And then finally, my mom said to me, she says, you've always written. Why don't you just go write for the school paper? I said, well, I already do. I've been doing that. She says, well, then I think you already found it. And I came home and I talked to my grandmother and I was like, Baba, what do you think? And she's like, yeah. She says, you do this. But okay. So I came out and transferred my curriculum and everything, and I graduated. I think it's actually called mass communication, but I got my degree in journalism and went from there. Wrote for several different newspapers, organizations. Had my own online newspaper for a time, short time, and it was before online was really a big thing with news. So probably had I waited a couple years, it would have been great. But I couldn't make it financially happen. I had the hits, I just couldn't, and I lost interest. So I went about, and by then the kids were growing up, and I stopped doing different things, and I picked up mommy things, and things that would work around the kids' schedule. And then I finally, when I went back to work, I worked at a greenhouse for a while, and I went to a show and I saw a magazine. And I went, this is what I'm doing. And it was a completely different magazine, but it was enough to kind of kick me under the butt. And then my cousin passed away, and I was like, what do I do? And I got the check because I was his executrix. I got the inheritance check, and I went, this is it. Because he was one of my biggest supporters too. And I was like, that's it. This is it. So
Wonderful.
I was started out as I was doing a lot of herbs and gardening and essential oils, and personally I was. And so the magazine kind of started with that. And then I went to a couple metaphysical shows. I went, I can just see this blown open now. So holistic to me had originally meant one thing, and now it's just, there's no end.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, because I do think it's a great opportunity, especially, if you work from anywhere or you sell products from anywhere, to, reach a different audience, to increase your exposure. I think that's so important. So thank you so much for being on here. And just a reminder, you got 2 websites. So Therapeutic Times, is this, like, where does someone go if they want to learn more about advertising with you?
So if they go to therapeutictimes.com, across the top, we have a button called advertise, and they can just click on that, and it'll give a little bit of information there. It'll also have all my contact information. And my email's real simple. It's just info@therapeutictimes.com.
Okay, I'm going to put that in before we go. info@therapeutictimes.com. Such a writing full.
I get the Times. It's a therapeutic I always stumble over.
I know. Hopefully I spelled it right. Thank you, Jeanne, so much for being on here today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. We'll see you next time.